How you guys doing? Welcome to another episode of FLAmerica, episode 4. Leo's joining us through audio today. How you doing, Leo?
I'm doing well, Rafa. Hi, everybody.
How are you guys doing, guys? Welcome. I got a new microphone. How's it sounding?
Sounds good to me.
Does it sound crispy, the audio?
Sounds
I feel
just
like
fine.
I sound like one of those old radio late night talk show hosts. Welcome to FLAmerica, episode 4. Tonight you'll be joined by Rafa and Leo. Anyways, hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be recapping the Flamengo Atlético Mineiro 1-1 draw, as well as Gabigol's and all of the politics and news that has been airing around that. We're going to give our opinions, speak briefly on that. So let's start off real quick. Flamengo Atlético Mineiro 1-1. What's your take of the game?
Well, it's a game that Flamengo should have won, right? We outplayed them. Let's keep in mind we had, what was it, 13 notable absences for the game, and arguably 8 starters, or something like that. And on the back of a celebration, people don't realize that, right? That was a very important title for Flamengo. And the player, you could tell, most players, and we'll cover that, were ecstatic, as were the fans with that title. So, these are professional athletes, sure, but they celebrate, okay? Let's not fool ourselves. So to go back on the pitch with, half of your squad not eligible to play on the back of a celebratory uh, 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 evenings, probably more than one, following the title, and to put down a performance that was pretty good. We should have won the game. We dominated. So, you know, yes, we can find reasons to not be pleased with the outcome of the game, as it was a draw where we should have won, but we played good football, and we should emphasize that, right? That to me speaks lots about the potential of what we're looking ahead. We're going to keep coming back to what does next year mean for Flamengo, and we should emphasize how good the team looks on the pitch.
Yep.
So when you factor all of that in, I think it was okay. Not the results that we wanted, but the fans showed it, right? They stayed back at the end of the game to celebrate. Nobody left. Nobody was excited, too thrilled about the result, 1-1, the 0-0 tie, but they were ecstatic about where the team is headed to, where
I
we're now
agree.
gonna
I
go.
agree. I was watching the game and I was honestly super happy. I thought we played great, especially like you said, considering we had 13 people out. Specifically the first half, it was beautiful to watch. Again, Everton Araújo and Wesley just took the show. They played amazing, especially Wesley, and he was just playing great. I heard the commentators talking about Wesley coming up potentially to the seleção, to the Brazilian national team, which I never thought in a million years I'd ever hear that sentence. But I was extremely happy. Of course, we have the missed penalty from David Luiz. I don't know why on earth he wants to take every dead ball, right? I thought Alcaraz should have taken it. He's already taken 2 this season and scored both. But anyways, it was good to see those backups stepping up. Despite our injuries, I thought in the second half we got tired. We barely had anybody on the
Sure.
bench, only the young kids, which I'm actually kind of excited about a couple of them, especially the Nigerian Shola. Something
Yeah.
about him. I don't know if it's his name or what it is, but positive signs for the future for sure. And, we can be happy, of course, now. I don't think we can win the Brasileirão or are even expecting to, but definitely positive signs for the future, would you say?
100%. And it's just how, under the circumstances, the team can still bring the game to a good side like Atletico and deserve the win. Yes. Some things to note. I think the one thing that I'm sure Felipe Luis is realizing is that the sheer amount of goals that are missed, right?
It's a joke.
But then again, this is not an exact science. If we do a baseball analogy, you may hit the ball hard the entire game, and all of them fall a couple of feet short of the
Hmm.
fence, and they end up in outs. But eventually they're going to go in, right? So
Not to
the
mention their keeper playing out of his mind for 3 games in a row. I mean, like what? It
yeah.
was pretty nuts.
That's right. Think about it, right? This is something that we don't have to, we can't lose perspective. We are playing against we played the last three games against the Copa Libertadores finalist, Atlético Mineiro. This is not a Serie D team. This is the Libertadores finalist, a team that thrashed River Plate in the semifinals. Okay, and Flamengo owned them
Yeah,
on
all three
in,
games.
in all three games.
Yep.
And if half of the goals that were missed went in, we would be talking about three thrashings, right,
Hmm.
against the Libertadores finalist. And again, let's not forget, this is month two of Felipe Luis in charge of the team,
Insane.
with half of your starting players injured. So, talk about you know a good outlook. There you go.
Extremely good outlook. And I was watching his press conference after the Copa do Brasil win, and it was just great. I mean, he was so humble. It was an emotional one. All the players went and threw water and ice on him, and it's a great vibe. And now talking about the game against Atlético Mineiro, we saw Gabigol in the stands. Right now, there's a lot of things circulating with him, especially after his controversial interview that he gave at the end of the Copa do Brasil game, where he announced his departure and took some jabs at the Flamengo's directory, right? Diretoria. Is that how you say it in English? Directory? I'm not even sure.
Yeah,
The
the club executives.
the
Yeah.
club executives. There you go. And and anyway, so we see him in the stands, right? And things are circulating right now that in the Copa do Brasil, the second leg of the final. I don't know if you know this, Leo, but when he got subbed out at halftime, while the starters that were going back on were warming up, it was heard him being super upset, screaming and saying "Tá de sacanagem," which means you've got to be freaking kidding me. He didn't even congratulate or give Bruno Henrique, good luck or shake his hand before Bruno Henrique went out for the second half. So really tough scene kind of right there, which I think directly led to the executives of Flamengo pushing Gabigol away from the team for the rest of the season, until his contract ends on December 31st. In their words, to continue and preserve the harmony for the team and to help Felipe Luis. What do you think?
Look, at the end of the day, it's not the end of an era that anybody hoped for. And we got to separate the player from the man, right? So the way I look at it is this is obviously not going to stay in Flamengo. And we kind of expected that anyway, right? Um, we have a couple of ways to look at it. We can either be obsessed and disgust and annoyed and enter this debate which seems to dominate a lot of the Flamengo fans discussions and forums, which is are you for Gabigol? Are you against Gabigol? What's going on? The way I prefer to look at it is this guy will forever be remembered as one of the best players in Flamengo's history when he was performing at that high level. And that essentially are the first 3 years that he played for the club. And nobody's ever going to erase that. I'm sure he means a lot in terms of memories created for all of the fans, especially the younger ones. I'm sure he means a lot to you. You can talk about that. And I've been to a lot of games. I've been following this club forever. And, without a doubt, if they ask me what was the most memorable game you've ever attended, and I will always keep coming back to that
2019.
November afternoon in Lima, right? And the way that all happened. And he was, the headline of that unforgettable championship.
Mhm.
And that's it. So I will remember that. I will focus on that. And I won't allow myself to get too annoyed or to go too deep into the controversial discussion of Gabigol, the personality, the selfishness or whatever, or the controversy-driven side of his persona. That's it. It's a fact. He's going to move on. We're going to be left with the memories and the silverware, and that is it, right? What I also know is that we're only going to have Pedro back
Yep.
likely in the middle of next year.
Exactly.
And, as we know, it takes a little bit of time for players to recoup, to get back in shape and match fitness.
Oh,
And we
yeah.
have a very important tournament coming up early next year, at some point in the middle of next year, which is the
Copa do
Club World
Brasil.
Cup. No, the club.
Oh, the
Well,
Club World Cup, the
the,
tournament. Yeah, that
yeah,
too.
we have Super Copa do Brasil, of course, and we have Carioca, all of that, sure. But we have the Club World Cup, the first ever, Club World Cup in this new format.
Hmm.
And we need a striker, right? Before
I was literally about to say that because to touch off on what you said first about the 2019 win, Gabigol, we're 8 days away from the 5-year anniversary of that legendary day, right? In my eyes, he's Flamengo's biggest idol for me, right, for the time I've been alive. Of course, Zico, I mean, he doesn't even touch, but I never got to experience Zico, right? I never got to experience Junior, all these players, right? Obina, for those who know. um,
better
uh,
than Eto.
Better than Eto, exactly. Even Hernani Brocador, for those little couple months period, was
The
playing out
one
of
year,
his
the 1 year wonder. They're the
the
one
one year
wonder.
wonder. The streets will never forget Hernani Brocador. Came out of
Oh man,
nowhere and left
yeah,
into pure dust. But
that's right.
but no. But jokes aside, Gabigol for kids my age and younger is just an idol, and his arrogant spirit, I think, plays to his, I guess, superstar role. Of course, he's probably lets it get to his head too much, but I'm very glad for everything he did. He's obviously a great goal scorer, and he fell off completely. And I'm happy to be letting him go. Do I wish we would have been smarter about it and got, I don't know how many millions of reais we probably could have gotten out of him? Yes. Now he's leaving on a free transfer. It is what it is. But good for him. Cruzeiro's doubling his salary. He's making 1.45 million a year at Flamengo. He's going to be making, reports are saying, 3 million. Sorry, not 1.45 million. Excuse me, 1.45 million a month. Reais. And in Cruzeiro at the Cabuloso, he's going to be making 3 million a month. So doubles his salary, and he gets a 4-year contract too. So, I
Oh,
mean, good for him. I know he'll probably is glad he's staying in Brazil, not going to Saudi Arabia or anything, given his party-like spirit. um, but what this means for the team moving forward is, like you mentioned, we have a bunch of cups coming up, and we don't have a striker. For the love of everything that's holy, I don't want Carlinhos to touch another field again, right? I mean, all due respect for him, but we need a striker, especially like you mentioned, Gabigol gonna be, sorry, excuse me, Pedro only going to come back halfway through the year. I think that's a big reason we haven't been able to score a lot of goals, even though we've had so many chances, is we've been having to improvise by using wingers as attackers, right? Bruno Henrique, Michael, Plata, all these guys are trying to be reference points in the middle of the attack, and that's not their natural position. So, moving forward, I think the transfer window is going to need to be huge, and we're going to need to find a striker, especially to come in and complement Pedro also when he gets back.
absolutely. So let's see who they can bring in to fill that gap. And you're right. If Pedro was eligible, I'm sure he would have scored a few goals in these last three matches, and
A hundred
and
percent.
the results would have been even more significant. But
Hmm.
good luck to Gabigol. Thank you for this is how I would close with Gabigol. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
everything. Memories are forever. We wish you the best of luck. Goodbye.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, I found it interesting that I don't think they're going to give him like you would expect that final goodbye, like a game in Maracanã with all
A
his trophies
farewell
out
game,
there.
a farewell
You think they
match.
will? I don't know.
I don't know. I really don't know.
He
Flamengo has
deserves it, but
he
they're,
does in one level, absolutely, and I'm sure a lot most of the fans would like to do that. But on the other hand, the current club executive, the club management, this and we one day we could talk about the Flamengo upcoming presidential elections. But the current club management, the executives, they have a side to them that is very vindictive, and they're very visceral in when they feel that they are not respected or they are done wrongly. They have that, and there's
Mhm.
some pettiness to that. There is some reason to that. So I'm not sure if they are going to stomach doing a farewell match, party match to him. I'm not sure how they're going to handle it.
Hmm.
Others have gotten it, right? Diego Ribas,
Felipe Luis.
Felipe Luis, and others. They had that moment. They had that day. Uh, I'm not sure that perhaps the most iconic player of this generation is going to get it before he leaves.
Just
So
in true fashion.
exactly. So we'll see. To be honest, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Look, you know, he's going to go where he has to go. He's going to make money. Flamengo is going to have to find, a replacement, and life will go on. I'm more excited to think about what could happen next year if the team continues to evolve tactically,
Hmm.
strategically, like it has in rapid fashion under Felipe Luis. I'm so thrilled. I'm
I'm
so
excited. I
excited.
can't wait too.
I'm so excited. I'm so impressed. This guy, Flamengo. th- it's very rare that you can have a combination of a head coach that has that differentiated way to look at the game, to change a game, albeit inexperienced because he hasn't been around in that position as long. But he's such a smart guy, and he's so in relationship wise. And you have that. We had that with Jorge Jesus. We had that with other managers in the past. But on top of that, he has that Flamengo DNA to him. The
Hmm.
Flamengo fans are very particular when it comes to identifying that energy, that element that bonds certain players and certain coaches to the Flamengo mantra. And Felipe Luis has that. So, really, you know, if the recent performance is an indication of what the future could bring, we could be headed to something really special,
I'm so
for the,
excited. I'm so excited.
yeah,
And not to mention the youth guys that are getting some plays in the squad are looking great. Mateus Gonçalves played a fantastic game this past week. We have these guys coming up. Everton Araújo. It's an extremely exciting future for Flamengo. I think the Brasileirão. Yes, we're not going to just give it up. Of course, Felipe Luis is not that type of manager. But I think, they're already taking the foot off the gas. Arrascaeta is probably going to be going into surgery.
yeah,
I think they should use this time to let the younger kids get some experience at a high level. Use some younger starting lineups. We already have our spot booked in the Libertadores. So I'd like to see a team of young kids out there hungry, similar to like a lineup we played a couple years ago against Palmeiras, where we tied and it was a bunch of young kids playing. Something like that for the season moving forward. But me too. I'm extremely excited. I was watching, like I said, the Felipe Luis's post game interview after the Galo game, and he was talking about his tactical analysis that he was doing and amount of hours he prepares for each game. It's almost like he has like an NFL head coach mentality where like they look at all the plays from the other teams, they watch film. It's a really, really tactical approach that you don't see many Brazilian managers do. Right. So, I think it's because he spent a lot of time in Europe, under Simeone. So I think that could definitely play testament to it. But like I said, I mean, it's pure excitement for me. So I
absolutely.
I can't wait.
Yeah, and I'm going to be looking. You're right. In these next few games that we have left this year, don't forget, this is in a weird way, it's almost like a pre preseason
Yes.
where a lot of the players, like you said, some of the youth players, and even some of the other players that don't get a lot of playing time, they know, right, that this is the best opportunity for them to make a case for being in the squad next year, right?
Hmm.
And what better moment to do that without the pressure that if we were vying for the title would bring. That allows them to play freely. That allows Felipe Luis to observe them. It allows them to show what they're capable of at a much higher level than the Campeonato Carioca or the State League, which
Hmm.
usually is treated like the preseason for those purposes. This is like a high level, and we're gonna have a match coming up against Botafogo, right? And Botafogo is playing for the title. Let's see what happens. Let's see if they're going to find a way to choke again. And Flamengo may play a role in that. That sucks in a way because that would deliver the title to Palmeiras, which I wouldn't be shocked if they win again. Unfortunately, that wouldn't be great, but it's possible. But what an opportunity for these younger kids and the players that don't get a lot of playing time to make a case for themselves. So I'm looking forward to the next few matches. Yes, it's a really long shot for Flamengo to walk away with the Brasileirão title.
No,
But you
yeah.
know what? But you know what? We may make a play, to at least spoil some
Some
dreams. Right? So we'll
I
see.
love it. I love it. And just to before we wrap it up here, as almost like a bonus segment, did you watch the South America Commonwealth World Cup qualifier yesterday? Or did you keep up with anything?
No, I saw the result. I saw that there
Yeah.
was another, excuse me, another penalty miss.
Another penalty miss. 2 days, two penalty misses for my two teams, Flamengo and Brazil. And this time, Vinicius Junior misses a penalty. And anyways, Brazil is not even close. It's a shame that I never got to experience the real Brazil. I'm sure, for those who don't know, Leo was at the 1994 final in the United States World Cup final, which I dream of one day getting to see Brazil win. But anyway, this is a Flamengo podcast. The reason I brought it up is because Gerson played great. Gerson played really well. Played the full game, I'm pretty sure. Might have been subbed off at the very end. And on top of it, Plata scored twice.
I saw Plata's goal. He had another goal where he chipped over the keeper.
He's
Just oh my God, dude! This guy. He people of the recent signings. He came in as like the kind of the one that they didn't talk much about, and you
yeah.
can make an argument that he's been the one that's been delivering the
The
most,
most.
right?
He's like
So
a I don't know. He's like a more I guess more polished, or like he has like the same style as Michael. Like we call it in Brazil like peladeiros, like people who just play pickup games, but it's like a professional pickup player. That's kind of how I see him. But he's been delivering great. I'm I'm excited to see. One
he's
big thing,
talented, man. He's talented. He
I mean, we
he
did
is
well in
talented.
2019 because of not only our starting lineup, but the strength of our bench. So it's really good, nice to see that we're beefing up our squad, especially when these injuries come back. I mean, Felipe Luis has been undercharged without Pedro, without De La Cruz, without Vinha, without Cebolinha. Like insane,
Yeah, and
insane.
Arrascaeta at 50%.
Yeah, it's insane, and I'm excited.
Gabigol at a small percentage of his best self, and Michael just coming back recently from injury. Oh,
Yep.
lots to look forward to.
Lots and lots to look forward to as we wrap up here today. Season's coming to an end, but we are not. We're just getting started here at FLAmerica. We're going to continuously cover all the games, all the news, all the updates. Excited to get into transfer season. And we're so glad you guys were able to join us today. And God bless you all.
Take care,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.